have a conversation. Hey, yo, let's chop it up, man. Hey, yo, let's have a conversation. Hey, yo, may I interject? It's about time for communal reconnect. Power of the we in some type of context. Working on the us so we can hit up what's next. It's that grown brother, grown sister type of flex. More like soul check, not just collecting checks. Fact, not feelings is what we got on deck. Take the high road, so this here is high tech. Getting to the real, everything that we hitting on. Pull up or sit down, tell me what you sipping on. Reclaiming kinghood, that is what we getting on. Real headlines is what we spitting on. So, hey now, yo, let's have a conversation. Maybe take a sec to talk on what we facing. Only way to change is to change the situation. How about we break bread now and have a conversation? Hey now, yo, let's have a conversation. Maybe take a sec to talk on what we facing. Only way to change is to change the situation. How about we break bread now and have a conversation? Let's have a conversation. Hey, let's have
Lady Flo, can you hear me?
I can hear you, TJ. How you doing?
How you doing?
I'm hanging in there, you know.
We are back. We are back. We are back.
Yes, indeed.
All right. We are the Real Bravado Network, and this is Have the Conversation.
Yes.
All right. You know, the last couple streams that we've done, Flo, you know, we've had to start them off with, you know, because of some tragedies and stuff like that has happened. And I was like, I'm not doing that this week because, you know, last week I was like, I'm not doing that no more. We're not no more. I just wanted a break from it, and I thought I was going to have a break from it.
Ooh.
And then we've had 2 incidences of issues that have happened since our last stream, and it's too much to carry, especially when we're trying to do what we're trying to do over here. But I just want to briefly mention them. I might run the clip at the end of the show for one of them. But one, there was another mass shooting. It was at a medical facility in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Someone got upset with the surgeon for surgery that they performed and decided to do what they do with him. The other one incident, which is what we'll probably talk about at the end for just a little bit, is what happened in Kansas City, Missouri.
Yeah.
The Kansas City Police Department decided that it was a good idea to shoot a pregnant Black woman 5 times. They thought that was a great idea because they had instructed her to lay down on the ground,
Yes.
face down.
Yes.
And she wouldn't do that because she was shouting at them that she was pregnant with her hands up, and they were upset. And so because of that, they said, you know what, we'll just shoot this pregnant woman 5 times. We'll get into that a little bit at the end, but we want to kind of get into what we need to get into today. Last stream, our subject was inspirational. No. Friendly, beautiful, and inspirational. And we had a really, I think, interesting conversation, especially we only got to the subject of our Black women friendly. The overall question, which is what I'm going to ask today, is, are there enough friendly, beautiful, inspirational Black women out here? Today, we're going to get into the beautiful part, and then we're going to get into the inspirational part of the conversation today. Offline, they were talking when we first got on Flo, and they were talking about wigs and stuff like that. And I was like, oh, Lord, I hope they don't get upset with me today because that's exactly what we're going to be talking about. Them wigs, weaves, and hair extensions. You're a beautician, right?
Yes, I am.
Yeah. So what do you think about that? Other than the fact that it's a money getter for you.
I do my hair. You know, I did my own hair. So for me, sometimes not all of us are able to have beautiful hair. And to improve oneself is nothing wrong with that. When you look good, I don't care how sick you is, you're gonna feel good.
Uh-huh.
You know, so for me, I want to hear what this is all about.
Yeah, okay. All right. All right. So real quick, let's get into it, Flo. I'll be right back with you, okay?
All right, TJ.
All right. All right, everybody, welcome. Like I said, we are the Real Bravado Network, and this is Have the Conversation. But do me a favor before we get started. Go to Real Bravado Network on YouTube. That's Real Bravado, Bravado Network on YouTube. Hit the subscribe button. This is the biggest way you can support this streaming platform. We absolutely need your support, and this program will not be able to move forward without your support of subscribing and also coming on and joining the panel. Also, those that are viewing right now or would like to view, if you're on us with us live, you can join us on the panel. All you have to do, let me do that right now while we got it going on. What you can do is click the link, and I'm about to put the link. We put a link in the comment section, and if you want to join the conversation or have a question, all you got to do is click the link. I'll see it to the bottom, and then I can actually just bring you on a board to the panel, and then you can interact with the rest of us. Also, if you don't want to do that, you are free to put comments in the comment section. We really, really, really appreciate the comments in the comment section. I do get quite a bit of emails. Watch live, join us on the conversation, do comments in real time. That's the best way to interact with us, okay? All right, so let's get down to business. Let me introduce myself. My name is Tavares J. Moore, and no, I'm not an image consultant. I'm no expert on relationships or culture or history, but what I am is an average middle class Black man who is sick and tired of being sick and tired. Now, the way in which we engage each other during the process on Have the Conversation is important. We as Black people have become very comfortable with being informal with each other, which can lead to lower the ability to maintain respect and decorum. While we are having these pressure tested conversations, as a facilitator, I will hold everyone to the standard of respect and decorum. And terms like Mr., Mrs., Ms., Miss, Sir, Ma'am, those are paramount with us. It's dignified, it's respectful, and it shows decorum, particularly during when we have pressure tested conversations or disagreements, okay? We're going to attempt to do all of this because here at the Real Bravado Network, we are invested in her image, his image, and our image. And, to be honest, it's taken me nearly my whole life to wrap my head around how valuable and significant and important image is, especially our ethnic, cultural, national image. We have begun the process to walk down our goals here to Have the Conversation. This is our fourth stream, and the discussion topics are related to her image right now. So let's recap for just a second what we mean by image. Image. Sometimes it's a noun, but it's used like a verb. And image is the reputation that a person is known for. This includes the behaviors, the character or characteristics, also your appearance. Another way of putting it, it's how you are perceived, how you viewed, and a better way to, I guess, to describe this, it's your reputation. So here's one of my questions. What is it about our image or how we are perceived that leaves us the most vulnerable and exposed group in America? Does our image even matter to us? We ask this every single week. Does our image even matter to us? When we talk about our cultural image in this country, when do we care how we are viewed? If you look at the issues that bring Black people out en masse, it's normally surrounding the actions of some local police department. I alluded to that a little while ago when I was mentioning the incident that happened in Kansas City. Is that the only time that we get upset enough to take to the streets? What do we do when we do take to the streets? And do these behaviors, when we are in the street, aid us in reaching our goal for a better national image? Remember, our national culture is the reputation that we as a collective group is known for, including the behaviors, our characteristics, and our appearance. I'm not going to list all of our most common national cultural image as a Black man, as a Black woman, but for the sake of the topic that we got going forward this evening, we're just going to stipulate that our national image is not something that we find favorable right now, whether that's fair or unfair. we understand that we do not have a favorable national image because stuff like what happened in Kansas City keeps happening at an alarming rate. Now, I mentioned in our first live stream, before we could even think about working on our national image, I raised the question, do we as Black people have a correct understanding of our own image amongst one another? What is the reputation, including our behaviors, the characters, and how we look, our appearance, that we're known for with each other? Do Black men and Black women have a fair and clear, favorable view of our image with each other? All right. So let's get down to our topic. The next segment, we usually introduce our topic in a segment that we call the Real Bravado Headlines. And this is where we introduce the topics or the issues that the panel is going to address. And we do it from a fact-based perspective, okay? So we are going to, let's get to it. All right. Here's a question. Do Black men know what Black women want from Black men? Do Black women know what Black men want from a Black woman? Seeing as we're addressing her image, we're going to focus on the question from her image standpoint. So do you, as a Black woman, know what the average productive Black man wants, needs from his woman? We asked that last week in the first installment of Friendly, Beautiful, Inspirational. All right, let's remind everybody what we mean by an average productive Black man. According to blackdemographics.com, 52 to 40 to 54% of all Black men are single, childless, earn enough money to live in the middle class. That's $40,370 or $19.40 an hour. Has at least a high school diploma with 2 years of college experience and come from the single mother household. That is the average American productive Black male, meaning the majority of Black men fit into that category. All right. The average productive Black man also wants what we consider to be an FBI woman. Now, that term was not coined by me. I didn't make that up. I actually snatched it and stole it from this other YouTuber that we call The Godfather, affectionately called The Godfather. And we're not talking about James Brown. But he actually calls it, his FBI is a little bit different, but our Friendly, Beautiful, Inspirational is what we're going to go with over here. All right. So the question or discussion for the panel is, are there enough friendly, beautiful, inspirational Black women? So we got started on that last week on our stream last week, talking about friendly. You know, more specifically, Black women smiling in the image around Black women not necessarily being the most friendly and why they don't smile frequently and stuff like that. But if you want to, I'm not going to rehash all of that. If you want to know what the panel said, what I said, how we laid it out, just go back to the Friendly, Beautiful, Inspirational Part 1, and you can take a look at that and get that. But today, we're going to focus on beautiful and inspirational. Okay? So, Black men have been asking Black women to be feminine, friendly, beautiful, inspirational, cooperative, and submissive. And also have your own natural hair. I'm looking at the faces, everybody. They're kind of laughing at me right now. All right. Speaking of own natural hair, let's talk about the B in FBI, beautiful. Everyone has heard the term or the phrase, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. That's true to a degree, but there have been scientific studies done on how to determine what is beautiful in terms of a woman. And the science did not include ethnicity. They focused their research on facial structure and symmetry. I have no idea what that means. I'm not going to go and get into the science because that's kind of a little bit beyond my scope. But the term, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. It's true and not true. From a scientific standpoint, they're saying there are certain facial features and structures and symmetry that make up what beautiful is. But we all have our individual preferences and stuff like that. So I understand that. So I'm not going to get into that kind of conversation either. But the average Black man has definitely has a certain, how can I say this, taste or preference in the physical appeal of his Black woman. Each man individually has his thing here and there, his likes, but there's a consensus that's that the overwhelming number of Black men do not prefer their women to look like this. So I hope I'm not upsetting on him. But this imagery is what the majority of us are getting today. So why, when most Black men are asking for nice figure, fresh face out of the shower look, minimum makeup, your own natural hair, why do we get something that looks like this? Okay. So we have a couple of Black men on video discussing this, and I'm gonna play the video. I'm gonna play the video real quick. There's actually two of them. You know what? Let me do this. Let me bring up the panel and let me ask them something real quick, okay? Hello, everybody.
Hey, TJ.
Can you guys hear me pretty good?
Yes.
Okay, so what did you guys think about what I just set up on the beautiful portion? Hezekiah, hold on a second. I want to hear from the ladies. Miss Angela?
Yes.
What do you think?
Well, I love my hair that I bought. But I just like you say, beauty is in the eyes of the beholder. You know, I think my purple hair that I purchased is beautiful. Any hair that I put on my head is beautiful, even my natural hair, when I decide to wear that. I choose to wear what's comfortable for me, what I like, because I'm comfortable with me. So I can just do what I like to continue to accentuate my natural beauty. Because I don't wear makeup, so my hair and my clothes and stuff accentuate the rest of me. So it is what it is. Everybody have their preference. It is what it is. Everybody have their preference. I love me.
Man.
So hey.
But your Black men, they're saying we get all that, but that's not what we like.
Oh wait.
Well, not all of them.
Hold on a second.
Not all of them dislike. Not all of them dislike this, because I happen to have a man that loves my hair, and he loves all the hairstyles that I wear.
You sure about that? Or was he just scared to say something?
No.
When he don't like them, he speaks. When he don't like them, he speaks.
He speaks how? What does he say?
Now you know you didn't have to do that, baby. Baby, why you do that? He'll say, baby, why you choose that color? Or he'll say, baby, why that? you know, he like for me to explain why. I wanted to represent this or whatever. He'll be like, oh, you had to do it with the hair. But he still go places with me.
Of course he does. He's being diplomatic about it.
Hey?
Lady Flo, you're the hairdresser on here. What do you think?
From my standpoint, do you know how many people lose their hair? And when you're able to cover that up, to feel good about yourself, that's important for a lot of people. Your image, the way you look, and how people look at you. You know, when you look good, you feel good. I, everybody don't do that though. Everybody don't look like, it's just fashion. It's nothing to be taken, you know, taken out of content. It's just fashion, and we as human beings love to show our fashion. That's just what it is. We fashionable people. We like to look good. There's nothing wrong with it at all.
Yeah,
Some people got coarse hair. There's nothing wrong with relaxing it a little to soften it up so it can be dealt with. Some people can't even deal with their hair, depending on who you are and what nationality you are. It's nothing wrong with upgrading who you are at all. I think is a good thing.
but the thing is that there's a subsection of men who don't really care. You know what I mean? But the majority of your fellas are that's not what they're now. When I was discussing this topic with somebody, my lady friend or whatever, she was like, got all bit up. And I told her, I said, she goes, well, I don't hear that. I said, of course not. Most of the stuff that you ladies, what you don't understand is a lot of our ladies don't understand the difference between what we prefer and what we will accept.
When a man love you, he will
When a man love you,
tolerate anything about you. Tolerate. That's
I said, well,
tolerate each
there's a
other.
difference between our preference and what we will accept.
Well, he just gonna have to keep choosing and keep looking until he finds something of his choice.
We don't
Because
have
you
an
gotta
infinite
be,
number of men.
we still gotta be who we are. There is a man that's gonna like exactly who you are, no matter
Don't
what.
mean you-
No matter
But that
what.
don't mean you gon' that don't mean you gonna
But
like
some
that
of
man.
y'all men be looking rough too now.
You know,
With y'all,
you know.
with
We
y'all
not
big old, y'all be having all this right here, and then some of
we
y'all
not
be having them old. Yeah,
Miss
y'all be looking
Angela.
rough too.
Miss Angela, we're not talking about how we looking. We talking about the preference of your black men, what they prefer. Miss Diamond, what did you think?
For me, I just got introduced to wigs as far as me wearing them maybe about 5 or 6 years ago. But wigs have been out forever. You had them wearing them on Good Times. Winona wore them and she looked beautiful in them.
You talking about from Good
They
Times?
wore them.
Yes.
Yeah, Winona wore them all the time, and she looked
Mm.
beautiful with them. And she pulled in the men, and they had no problem with her. You had
Yeah,
many of the actresses and singers who wore those wigs. You had Diana Ross and them. The whole group wore wigs. You had Patti LaBelle, who was famous for her fan wigs.
but what for her
So we had
wig?
so many celebrity
Absolutely.
women, and they're still doing it now, that are wearing the
Mm-hmm.
wigs. I choose to wear wigs for many different reasons. For one, because it complements whatever I'm wearing that day and the mood that I'm in. So I wear it like that. And sometimes I choose a man if he compliments me. If he don't, then he's set on the shelf just like a wig. So to me, it's
Just Diamond. Just Diamond. Just Diamond.
you took
Yes.
us there and trying to bring us about with these wigs, so I'm going to keep it real. You want to hear from me, and you want to hear from other women, so I'm going to bring it to the men.
Yeah.
That's the way that I feel. And if he, if he loves me for me or likes me for me, some of them, you have some women getting injections in their mouth. They get injections back there to look like who? They sit on the beach all summer to be tan like who? But they don't have no problems with that. But they have a problem. We want to put something on our head.
Yeah, for real.
Well, they wear extensions, they wear clip-ons, they wear all kind of stuff. A lot of these people, a lot of these other races that have they hair is thin, they make their hair fuller.
Exactly. as a beautician, I go through that. People here, as you age, for some reason, we lose our hair, and we always want to feel forever young. There's nothing wrong with feeling and looking good. It's all about image and how you want to be looked at.
So, hold on, Miss Torres.
Yes. I agree with a lot of the things that the ladies are saying.
I know.
I just feel it has to do a lot with the perspective of the man. Every different man, has their own perspective on what is beautiful. And you've got some men that might choose a lady that has no hair. Some men might choose a woman that has completely, put everything that's not natural on her body. It really depends on the man. There's so many different forms of beautiful. But touching on the individual point as far as why Black women do it, I mean, we are one of the most creative race of people out there. And there's a lot of things that we do that are emulated.
Yes.
But as far as the particular men that don't like, that's just their preference. They don't like that. Why those women do it? Again, it's something that they enjoy doing.
But according to the majority of Black men, most Black men don't like it.
Oh well.
And there ain't no oh well. There is no oh well.
Well,
yeah.
Let's say we're going based on that. A majority of Black men don't like this. Okay, then I believe what the problem is. They need to voice this opinion, because what's happening is a lot of women are going based on what they believe Black men like.
And there's a reason why Black men don't say a whole lot of stuff, because we potentially are going to lose access. What you say?
Okay, so you're saying you're afraid that most men are afraid to voice their opinion because they believe.
You know why?
Okay, why is that?
Because we know that we potentially might lose access to the thing that we want from you the most.
Interesting.
Put it out there.
Ooh, Hezekiah, am I lying about that?
Put it out there.
Unmute Hezekiah.
Not lying. We're after the prize. We're after the prize.
After the prize.
What may that be?
What'd you say, Mr. Morris? What did you say?
We're after the prize, so we adapt.
You said we adapt.
You better adapt.
but you see, y'all skipped the question now. Y'all skipped the whole question.
What was the question?
Did you look at that puppet and them eyelashes? I can't stand that. Them eyelashes scare me. I'm like, whoa.
And the blonde hair.
And it's like, see, we got to understand, we like to take the styles, but we're taking the styles from the actors and movie stars. We're not actors and movie stars, and they're doing it to present themselves in a different way on film and on the movies, and then they come out with it. I'm like, they got one eyelash up here, one down here, and I'm like, wow, okay. I mean, I've dated women, that had hair, and that's not a problem. I mean, we're men, we ain't all smelling all good all the time. Our hair ain't cut all the time either. So it's a 80-20 day. Some days she got it, some days I got it. But when it boils down to it, it's all about who we prefer, what we like. And since we live in a country where we have the freedom to choose who we want to be with, or what we like and what preference we like, that's amazing, because in some countries, they ain't got no other choice but to marry a guy that they don't even want to be with.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, Miss. Hold on a second, Hezekiah. Miss Lucas.
Well, all I can say is my hair is natural, but in my 20s, when my hair fell out, I wore my wigs. I wasn't gonna walk around here bald head, So I had my different wigs on. But even with my natural hair comes in the middle, in the back of I have long hair. But I still put my wigs on, my weave now, because I like different colors. I like to be fancy sometimes. So my husband liked it.
Yes.
This, you know what? Can I say something real quick?
He like it.
This
So y'all don't be talking about
this is the
majority.
problem that men have. I'm gonna give you the problem. This is the problem. When you come home, you throw that wig everywhere. And we have to sit and look at y'all hair everywhere. And we have to look at y'all hair at home, not done.
Everybody don't do that.
But then when
Everybody
y'all
don't
go
do
out
that.
to party or go be with your girlfriends, y'all got your hair all nice and spiffy and it's looking good, and we sitting here like, why we gotta see that part of you? We want to see that part of you. We actually like it looking good with the extensions and all that. But when y'all come home, we get the bald headed nappy you. We like, we didn't sign up for this.
All right, guys, real quick.
That's not true all the time.
I do have a couple. I do have a couple of clips.
Hezekiah. You have some women. You have some women that have their hair done underneath, and they just don't have time in that day to do certain things with their hair. So it's not always the case of them doing that. You know, I have styrofoam heads that I put my wigs on, and I keep them in the closet. So I choose and pick every day which one I want to wear, if that's what my choice is for that day. So if you're sitting there and you're more so focused on my hair, then you're the one with the problem. You're not the one that's there for me. You're there just for my hair. Then go date the hair. Go curl up in bed with that hair.
No, we don't want to curl up with that hair, Miss Diamond. That's what we said. We don't want to crawl up with that.
Okay, but then if we take the hair off and we have our natural hair, who's to say what our natural hair looks like? Just because it's natural and we don't want to wear it during that day. Some people don't want that damage from the heat. Some people are keeping it in a certain type of way for a certain type of reason. I know for me, for COVID, I lost a lot of my hair. And that was due to COVID. And it wasn't about being bald or anything else. I shaved the rest of it off. And I started letting it grow naturally. And I don't have a problem with it naturally. Today, I'll wear a wig today. Tomorrow, I might wear a blonde wig. The next thing is not about being a celebrity. It's because of the way I feel for that day and in that moment. Yeah. Just like you guys put on certain sneakers from certain brands. When you can always go to Payless to get the same thing. So what's the difference? You are so busy worried about what's up here. And that's on the top of my head instead of what's in here. I think some of the men need to refocus on what's real.
Ms. Diamond, you know men are very visual creatures, more so than the ladies.
Well, I think a lot of them need some glasses because they're looking at the wrong thing.
All right, I got a video with that. I got a video I need to put. I got a couple videos, okay? Hold on a second. I want you guys to take a look at what these fellas are saying, and then we'll bring you back, okay?
I don't particularly care for fake hair. I don't prefer it.
Oh Lord,
but if it's there,
they're gonna get you for that one.
I mean, well, I'm just saying, like, I don't prefer it, but if it's there and it's well kept, then I can't really complain.
Here's the thing about wigs and weaves. You should be able to fool me. I should not know that you have it on.
I need to be a little bit deceived.
Probably if I could tell a little bit, that would be nice.
If I know off top that it's fake, like I know what I'm jumping into. It's like if you're jumping into a ball pit and like there's just balls in there, you'd be cool, you know? But if you jump in and then you feel like spikes underneath, you're gonna be a little,
agitated.
You'll be a little agitated.
She just had a great head of hair, and later on I rubbed my hands through it. And
fingers discovered the weave in the girl's hair, and that's when the truth revealed itself.
We feel like the maze underneath.
And I had a little roadblock.
Then we get surprised, like, all right.
Am I in bed with Allen Iverson? What is these cornrows?
And it was a bit traumatizing for me.
It blew my mind. Is this why women do this all the time?
She must have had one of those $1,000 Remy goddesses.
So it is in the back of my mind that yes, she's pretty, but how does she look without it?
I'd rather you just be you. Show me you. Let me love you.
There's a lot of restraints that comes with having a woman with fake hair.
I can't get my hair wet.
We're not gonna go swim.
I don't want to be sitting up here like doing a doggy paddle.
We'll be very mindful of the roller coasters that we go on, because if it's too fast, then
pull this whole thing off.
Going to sleep, she has to wrap up her hair. That takes a whole 50-minute process.
I can understand it, but I'm just like, oh man.
I don't want all that. I want you to just wake up naturally and just say, listen, here it is.
And then when we have sex, we won't pull your hair.
That's what it boils down. You still could pull the hair. It's just, can you? Listen, man, they do some amazing things with hair technology now.
I'm not anti-weave, but ladies, if weaves are taking out all of this on the side and all of this on the side, you might need to let it go.
You know what happens when you don't curl it? When you lay on it,
You can see the line.
you put jam on it and just slick the back.
They have like lumps at the top.
If the front of your hair is dry and the back is luxurious,
The naturals are starting to get jealous of the
Mhm.
weave, so it's like they're breaking out, and
battling.
it's like, nah, babe, I need to see the light of day too.
Yeah.
Like, no, we can't have that.
I hate when my woman's hair is undone.
Not done.
Unkempt.
It's
Kept.
washed and kept.
Sometimes people just,
Oh man.
Miss Lucas, go ahead and unmute. Why are you shaking your head?
When they said unkept hair, unkept, do you know how many men I see with the hair look like somebody just drove a car on top of their head and they're gonna talk about unkept hair? Really? At least we throw a wig on her, try to look good. Unkept. Wow.
But you gotta understand the men that was talking right there. They was like businessmen in like, careers. Like what you talking about. I've never seen a businessman that's not in a career with his hair all over his head and all messed up. So it's a different kind of man for what they are talking about.
Like you just said, a businesswoman, she is not gonna go to work with unkept hair.
Right.
No, this is the question though. This is the question that we're missing. We understand that. But when y'all girlfriends come to call and y'all got the hair looking all good and everything, but when we sit at home and it's just both of us, y'all just be like, well, I'm at home. Deal with it.
When they look at these women,
you know what I'm saying? We like, we want you to
Hezekiah, hold on a second.
too.
Hold on a second, Hezekiah. What you say, Miss Diamond?
I'm saying, does any of these men, when they look at some of these women, do they even think that they're looking at their own mother? Because some of their mothers are wearing wigs, weaves, and doing everything. And that's how they caught their fathers. So when they're looking at them, what are they saying? Like, nah, that don't look natural. My mother don't look like that. Or are they ashamed of their mother because their mothers do wear wigs and weaves? Because back in those days, that's what they wore.
Yes.
But the thing is, when we talk about a man wants an FBI woman, his preference versus what he accepts. His preference is natural. That's his preference. Now, of course, every man is a little different. You know what I mean? But we're talking about the preference of the man. He wants a friendly, beautiful, inspiration. And his definition of beauty is woman who is naturally fresh face out of the shower, minimum makeup, your own natural hair if all possible. Now there's a whole group of guys that don't care, but that's not what the general consensus is. And my overall question is, if you care about what is pleasing to your man, why not give that to him?
But what about what's pleasing to her? Why does she have to go out of her way just to try to make him happy? She's miserable herself on the inside because of what he wants. I get it's a give and take in a relationship. I get that. Mm-hmm. But if she's not happy with herself, and that's what she does to make herself happy, then why is he trying to make her miserable? By being who she's not. Well, so she's going to wear the wig, that's who she is. She's a person that wears wigs. If she's a person that wears extensions, she's a woman who wears extensions. Like a man, he wears a uniform, he's a police officer, he's a cop. He is known as that. When he goes home, he takes it off. Some women want him to keep it on. Want him to keep on all of that equipment that he has, but he's not. He's going to take it and put it away. And then he comes out of being that officer or a man in a uniform, and he could be disappointing to her too.
Yes. So love it or leave it alone. You have to look at it
both ways. You can't just think because of what the man wants all the time.
You can't. I don't know if it's a love it or leave it alone situation, Flo.
I mean, that's what it boils down to.
It's not like there are like a.
You gotta choose. The choice is yours. You can't.
There's 26.5 million black women in this country. The rest of the black people, the other are men. You guys outnumber us. And the overwhelming majority of black women are not with their natural hair and not like that. So it's like when you go choose it or leave it, then it's like to leave it to who? Go to who?
to somebody else that like it.
Who is the somebody else when the majority of you are not like that? I mean, so here's the thing. You always say, okay, so the issues that the men are bringing up and say, hey, we want this out of you. And your response is, well, go to somebody else. There's only so many of us left.
But initially, when you meet a person, you're choosing. You choose right then and there what you want. Don't wait till you choose and then create a problem to say you gotta fix it.
Why is that a problem?
From the jump, it would eliminate all the problem if you just choose the woman of your choice from the jump.
No, that don't work. Because what if we make the wrong choice?
That's on you. Your choice is
I'm saying, if you know you don't want nobody with weave in their hair, you know you don't want nobody with weave, and you know you don't want nobody that wear wigs, then don't choose nobody that wear wigs, and then you won't even have to deal with it.
That ain't getting us to the prize. That ain't getting us to the prize. You won't have to deal with it.
And this is the reason why your brothers won't say nothing.
Around and just change who we are.
There's not enough black women out there like that to go around. That's what we don't understand. There's like remember a few weeks ago we was having the stepdaddy conversation, and I made the statement that black men are going to have to be stepdaddies because there are just not enough women to go of childless women to go around. There's not. Just like there's not enough. There's just like there's not enough black women who don't wear wigs and weave, and we understand that there's a myriad of reasons for that. And I'm not saying don't stop doing that if that's what you want, but I'm saying to you is, where's the echo coming from? Do y'all hear that?
I heard it.
Okay, I'm gonna move my phone. Okay.
I don't hear nothing.
I got feedback. I think it's my phone.
I hear it.
Hold on a second. All right. Does somebody have YouTube playing live? No. All right. Okay. Okay. I don't know. Hold on a second, guys. You guys don't hear no feedback?
I do.
We hear it.
I hear you, but it's like
I don't. I don't.
It's echoing right. Everything you say, it echoes right behind it.
Hold on a second. I got my phone sitting right here by all this equipment, so I just turned it off. Hold on a second. Hello, you guys are there?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know what this is. Hold on. Yeah, I don't know what's going on over there, but we'll just keep going. But yeah, that was my point. Hold on, I got one more clip I want to play for you guys, and then we'll get back to the discussion. Hold on a second. Share screen.
Box below. Let's get into this question, man. This is my chef he's talking about, and I'm gonna have to paraphrase a lot of my questions now because sometimes they get kind of long. And if I read all the questions, it'll be a 10-minute video. But I'm gonna just paraphrase a little bit. He says basically, why are women obsessed with weaves and wigs, knowing the damage that it causes their hair and scalp? I'm in Atlanta, and it's an epidemic along with HIV and STDs, but that's a different subject. after years of this damage has forced them to be natural or that won't grow with skin problems, or forced them to wear wigs to cover up the damage. He says, I've slept with women whose hair actually stinks, all right, because they don't wash it. Why can't women be more natural with their hair? And that stuff is expensive, that weave and the wigs. He says, it's a big turnoff to me and many other brothers nowadays. Are women just too lazy to take care of their hair like back in the day? It is a big red flag for me, plus a waste of money that could be used towards something more important that you're seeing. All right. He says, there are more women wearing weaves than women talking on their cell phones while driving. Thanks, Coach, for all that you do. I appreciate you, Chef Keith. And let's talk about this, man. Here's the deal with women and hair. What you have to understand is their hair is their crown right there. All right. Doesn't matter what race they are. This is how they express their femininity. And I used to say that their most popular phrase of the day is my hair. All right. Every single day of their life, they talk about their hair. This is like the most important thing. Matter of fact, if you see overweight women, a lot of times they're overweight, they're all big and just out of shape and flabby. Their hair will be on point, all right? Because at the end of the day, they feel like, look, my body is a disaster, but at least my hair is going to be on point. But I digress. Hair is important, and for men, it is important too. Now, a lot of men will give women a pass for having short haircuts, but at the end of the day, healthy hair, long hair is a sign of femininity in youth. All right. Now, you might like women with short haircuts. That's your preference. All right. But at the end of the day, most men prefer women to have long or at least healthy hair. Now, he's talking like he's dealing with black women. I'm going to say he's.
All right. So what do you think? What do you think about Coach Greg Adams and what he said?
I agree with him.
Very interesting, yes.
I agree with him. He basically saying what we saying. Our hair is what accentuates who we are, you know. And we being creative people, we like to be creative through art, using ourselves as canvas. You know, we all can't look alike, so we all have our differences and how we want to look. And a man have to choose the woman of his choice from the jump, and it would eliminate every problem that he have. Take time to get to know her and make that choice. The choice is his. So he can't choose a woman that wear weave and then complain about it. That's what you met her with, and that's what it is. You know?
So we must choose multiple women then, right?
If too much sweet put rotten in your teeth, that would be your
That's what we need, a lot of sweetness then, because who says no, that's going to be the right woman?
You'll just be running around here with a bunch of rotten teeth, because that's what will happen at the end of the day.
No, but you see, what he's saying is, that's the difference. I'm going to get to the premises part. When there's a woman, when there's a woman from overseas or from the Caribbean, we look for long hair. With our African American ladies, we suspect them to have healthy hair. That's our preference. But if not, we like the hair to be done. That's the first thing we see when we look at a woman. How is her hair done? If we know she keeps her hair done, we like, okay, she's neat, she's tidy. But if she goes out everywhere, oh, here's another key. If her hair's done and the kid's hair not done, we don't like that either. Because that means that you're more responsible, worried about yourself than your kid. We don't like that. That's a sign of we don't like that at all.
But from what I'm hearing, it
Mr.
sounds
Hezekiah, I
like
could ask you a question. The man walks into a
it's like
bar.
you're saying that
Is he looking at her hair
finding that
and saying, "Oh, I'm going to talk to her because her hair is this way," or is he just going to be talking to her because he thinks that he's interested in her? But as he's talking to her, he gets to know her. He wants to exchange numbers with her, and they move on.
First thing first.
conversation.
We are not really going to talk to her
point in
because we want
time-
to talk to her. We see something that attracts us. Maybe it's the
question you probably
booty
want
or
other
the
things.
thing.
But at
So
the same
our
time,
person.
but we're so focused on the women's hair and what we're doing with our hair, and it's not being natural. But how many men are using certain things to enhance certain body parts too? That's not natural for them either.
Well, yeah, I don't like that, but I like everything natural. But you know,
It just sounds to me like
Well, for
what
some men,
I'm
everything's
hearing
not
is
natural.
more men are not, discovering these women that they like. It sounds
we're
like
not,
there's
and we're
an
not
issue.
happy. And we're not
Okay,
happy.
so
And we're picking these
why-
women, and we're staying with them, and we're miserable because we
Okay,
just
so
settle.
why is that? It's like it sounds to me like because these women do exist, natural women, and it sounds like your problem is you're just not finding them, and that's the issue. It's not that they don't exist.
We are insecure for one. We are lazy for one because we're scared to. We get one, we get comfortable, so we're scared to be like, oh, we got to do this all over again. Go find the one that we really like, and so we just set our sights on. Okay, let's. It's that's how it is though. We just get comfortable and lazy.
But that's
And
not
we-
our fault. That's not the
that's true.
woman's
That's
fault.
true.
That's you being lazy and you making the wrong choice. You got to choose wisely. And then you will eliminate all that uncomfortableness that you create in your world.
Yeah, yeah. And
So
we have a
I
lack of
appreciate
insecurity
you,
in
Mr.
us.
Hezekiah, for being honest, because a lot of men would not come on air like this and say that they're lazy and that they get comfortable. So I do appreciate you being honest, and a lot of men
Yes,
need to take
definitely.
something from you with that, and if more men and women were to be honest like that, then you would find something within that person a little bit more than just their hair.
Exactly, I agree.
Yes, ma'am. And he said it in a nutshell. They lazy and they want it easy. And when they get it the way they get it, it's a problem. But who created that problem?
Yeah.
You. The choice is yours.
We do it a lot of times because we get more attracted to the body parts, and then after we get them, we find out who the real person is, and we like, whoa, why do I put myself in a situation for all this just for some booty?
I got
that's
something
it.
for
Another question,
you
Mr.
got to go get
Hezekiah.
you some Otis Reddings because he tell you in a nutshell, you better take time to know her. It's not an overnight thing. Take time to know her. Don't go rushing into these things. And
Mr. Hezekiah, what
Yes,
do
ma'am.
a man what do a man say to their son when he's looking for a woman or a wife? What do they say to if I don't know whether you have a son or not, I'm not trying to put you
I
on
got a
blast or
daughter.
anything,
I
but
have a daughter.
Okay, for a man who has a son, what would he tell his son to look for within a woman? Because a lot of times they say you can't make a certain type of woman a housewife. So, because that's what it seems like some of them are looking for with the image. So, what would a man tell his son to look for within a woman? Is he telling him to look for a woman who don't have a wig?
We actually was talking about this at work the other day, and we have to adapt with the times. There's no more housewives anymore unless you're rich. And even then, they don't want to be housewives. So what you look for in a woman is, are they mentally capable of communicating and holding a conversation? Is that mental capacity? Can they talk to you from point A to point B? And if you can hold a conversation longer than a minute, because I've met women and I've sent them texts, and they be like, you're sending me texts, but I can't read. Now, what am I doing with a woman that can't read, who's 30 years old? But you can smoke weed all day. See, that's something that we are not looking for. And I have to tell my son, you have to be very mindful because you might get yourself in a situation that you can't get out of. Women can be deceiving just as men can be deceiving. Times have changed. Women are doing what the men used to do now. So he has to be very careful on what he's looking for in a woman.
Mr. Moore, you're mute if you're talking to us.
He's talking away.
And that I commend you for saying that you text women and you sent them messages and whatnot, but you also have some men who can get up early in the morning and stand on the corner and do things that he shouldn't be doing, but he won't get up early in the morning and stand on the line looking for a job.
Yeah, and we'll get to that when we're talking about his image. But the one thing I want to kind of repoint out, because we kind of got a little bit off topic with it a little bit. But remember what the average Black man is looking for: friendly, beautiful, inspirational. We also want our woman to be cooperative, submissive, friendly. And so yeah,
Sometimes
and
men
everything
make
is
a woman a certain way too.
No, you cannot. No, you cannot. And this is where when we actually get to the to his image, about it comes about his standard and what he accepts. I have a firm belief that what you accept is what we produce. And so with the men telling our women, this is what we want from you. And like I said at the beginning, it flexes and wanes between each man. So when you look at it on an individual level, but I'm looking at it more from a whole list, more from a group standpoint, that as a group, as a whole, this is what our men are saying that we want, and our women are always give us pushback on that, which is fine. The pushback is fine. I also said last week too, I don't know if it's on the stream or we were talking offline, but I also said too that Black men and Black women, we need to make a new deal with one another. Because we're not, as to kind of piggyback on what Hezekiah said, we're not going back to traditional housewives with traditional roles and stuff like that. But there's something to be said about still having core traditional pieces a part of our new deal. We need a new deal. If you're looking at our cultural outcomes, they're disastrous. There's stuff to be proud of, but overall in general, they're 73% of our women should not be raising kids alone and single. That should not be happening. That should not be happening. Only 33% of our men are married. That should not be happening.
Can I say something?
18 to 20% of all the Black men are creating 80% of the babies. That should not be happening. We need to create a new deal. Mr. Morris, I got to move on to the next topic because we're like an hour in. So, but this part of the discussion was good. So let's get down to it, okay? All right, I'll bring you guys back up in just a second. All right. Black men also want inspirational women in their lives, okay? An inspirational woman is a woman that motivates mentally, emotionally, and produces girl-like charm. And I hope that's not offensive to people, but also influences directions with good counsel and stimulates and brings calm into the home. So when we talk about that a Black man wants an inspirational woman, we're talking about a woman who can motivate us mentally and emotionally and produces a girl-like charm, which is very invigorating to masculine energy. We're going to get into that a little bit later, what masculine energy is. Actually, the clip I'm going to actually play is going to go into that. And also, inspirational women know how to influence direction with good counsel, and that can also stimulate or bring calm to a situation. Inspiration from a woman is manifested in her friendliness, being beautiful, cooperative, and her submissive state, which is also called being feminine. In modern dating right now, women are often asked by modern men, what do you bring to the table? If you are an FBI woman, a friendly, beautiful, inspirational woman, my question is, shouldn't that be enough? Shouldn't that be enough? If a man is being rooted and his character is driven and productive, his basic requirements are simply an FBI woman. I really don't possess the skills to really talk about what inspirational women is or feminine women is with any real justice. I mean, I really recognize my limitations and things. So we're going to take a look at R.C. Blake's made a video, and he said, please share this with everybody, that specifically talks about that from the question standpoint of what does a feminine woman bring to the table. Now, I completely and utterly agree with this man and what he's saying, but he's coming from the aspect of a feminine woman and a masculine, productive man. That's where he's coming from. Okay, so we're going to take a quick look at what he's at his opinion. Okay.
Around the world. Now, I would love for you to invite someone to come in, call them, email them, text them, hit the copy the link and share it on other social media platforms, because I believe this discussion tonight is I think it's going to be healing, but I think it's also going to bring clarity to not only women, but even to men. Of course, more women watch my content than do men, but eventually brothers make their way around. And then we have some brothers that are always present, and I thank God for them. I want to talk just for a little while today, hopefully not as long as I normally would, about things a feminine woman brings to the table. And I guess the reason I'm dealing with this is because I quite often get the question, I quite often hear the question asked, what does a woman bring to the table? And I have to admit, initially, excuse me, I was taken aback when when the question was first posed to me. I guess it's because I'm from another generation. I'm not an old man, but I'm an older guy. And my generation and those generations that came before me, it was pretty evident to us what a woman brought to the table. Any woman that a man would view as wife material, it was really not complicated relative to what she brought to the table. Honestly, I think the question is so off-based relative to masculinity and manhood. I think it's so off-base that any conversation about a woman bringing anything to the table coming from a man is a reflection on the level of the man speaking. Because
Miss Torres, did you see the look in his face?
Yes.
With that last statement, when he said, this speaks to the level of man that is bringing he almost had a look of disgust. Did you see that? I don't know if anybody else noticed it. So I might be stopping this intermittently, because this is a little bit of a lengthy, we're going to look at about 10 minutes of it, but what do you think what he's saying so far? Just that opening piece.
I find it very interesting because he touched on a couple of things. One of the things that really stood out to me, from what I'm getting, a woman, a queen, is a reflection of her king. That's the message that I'm getting. And she brings peace to that man.
Mm-hmm.
She helps to make his home, a comfort zone. something that he can come home to, whereas, he can escape the outside world. These are all of the things that this man is saying. So he's really kind of pinpointing the fact that this is how a man sees his queen,
Right.
king.
And here's the thing. He's going to be talking about things, but he doesn't use the words inspirational, but this is what he's describing. He's going to get into the description of what a feminine woman is, which is all inspiration is femininity. But he's basing everything off of this description. I put it up earlier while he was talking, which is, for a man ought not cover his head, since he is the image and the glory of God. But women is the glory of a man. For a man was not made from a woman, but a woman from a man. Neither was man created for woman, but woman for man. And so a lot of times when I'm talking about feminine, beautiful, inspirational, and I used to say, before I actually found it scripturally, which I just did there, I used to say, God created Adam, which I did term Adam to be man. He created Adam and he gave Adam dominion over everything on this planet. And I used to tell women, including you. And then I started to I changed the word dominion to stewardship, because that's more of an accurate statement over than dominion. You know what I mean? I know what I was meaning. I wasn't meaning like, man got his foot on your neck, but God gave man stewardship over everything on this earth, including our women. And I found it scripturally. So, and then he talks about it from that perspective. Friendly, beautiful, and inspirational. And I understand, while we're having these conversations, I understand that it's a little bit difficult in the way we are structured right now as a Black community, for our women to be all of those things. Don't think for 1 second, because I'm having these conversations and I'm pushing, that's kind of lost on me or kind of lost on the platform. That's not it. It's not lost on us. I'm trying to identify, you know what I mean, where we used to be, what we're supposed to be, and then make a new deal going forward. That's kind of where I'm headed with this. Does that make sense, Miss Diamond?
Yeah, it does. I was just reflecting on the words that he was saying and his overall package, his delivery, him talking as if he's talking to you and not down on you. And I saw that in his speech and the conversation, and it just felt for me that it's relatable and I can speak to him. And I know that he's looking at me as being on his level and his equal. So it means a lot for me to be able to speak to a man like that. But when you come across in a different way, then that's where they start to see other things in some women. And some women may exude that and may deliver that, but that's not their intent. But that's what they're giving. But the conversation that he had and the conversation that we were listening to earlier, to me, there's two totally different types of men. Just like men see women as two totally different or different types of women. I see him as a different type of gentleman than I did with the other ones who was talking about the hair. He could have been talking about hair too, but the way he delivered it would have been different, maybe, than the way that it was delivered by the other men. So he would have captured my attention more. I could have understood him more in the way that he wanted me to be than in the way that maybe the other men were delivering it, because it was more in a sarcastic kind of way and more of a put down. So sometimes men have to understand that when they're talking to women, they're talking to their equals as well, because that's what we want to be treated as. Again, we are, as Black women, supposedly the lowest on the totem pole, and we get no respect, and we don't get it from our own. That cuts us even more. We're not looking for our 40 acres and a mule. Give us 39 and a half. We'll be all right.
You said 39 and a half. Yeah, I understand. At one point, we're going to have a conversation about message and messenger, because sometimes that's important too. Message and messenger. The message may be correct, but the deliverer of the messenger also may be incorrect as well, even though if the message is correct. And I understand that, but I try to force people to focus on the message and not the messenger most of the time. But sometimes it's hard depending on how it's delivered. But some could say we are, as a culture, in a state of crisis, and we can no longer be polite about where we are and where we're going. Hezekiah, I'm going to come to you a little later. I need to finish up this video because I don't want to go too long tonight, okay? Hold on a second.
Because masculine, king conscious, as some like to put it, alpha males, it's not unclear as it relates to the value of a woman and what she brings into a man's life when she commits herself to that man. A grown man, a king conscious man, a grown man builds the house, and he even builds the table. He'll get up and he'll go and he'll put the bread on the table. He'll do all of these things, build the house, build the table, fill the table, just to make room for a feminine woman.
Miss Lucas, go ahead and unmute.
That's right. When I leave the house, I respect my husband. I don't argue with him in public. I don't make him feel like he's nothing when we go outside. If he sees that somebody has made me upset, he just looks at me. He don't have to say be quiet. I know how to be quiet. I'll just be quiet because I'm not out there to show off. I'm not out there to embarrass him.
Yep.
I represent him.
Mr. R.C. Blake's just made a point of saying that it is the guys. You know, a lot of times we hear the question, "What is it that you bring to the table?" First of all, she's not supposed to. And you hear a lot of women, good Lord, actually sit there and go, "I am the table," and I got to be polite about it and say, "No, you're not. No, you're not." I prefer, you know, and I always preface my comments and conversations surrounding productive, character-driven, productive men. That's a different breed of man. Man, that somebody's going to sit there and ask somebody, a woman, what do you bring to the table? Did you hear what this man just said? You're supposed to construct that table. And I hate that phraseology, what you bring to the table. I just hate that. But you got to construct the table, fill the table with the bread, and a purpose-driven, productive man does all that for the pleasure of putting a woman at the table. He does all that for that. He's going to get into that. So I just want to know what are your responses on what he says about that.
My husband respects me. As I preach the word of God and I travel and do everything, he doesn't get in my way. He respects my role. And he respects, and we know what each role is and how to push each other. So I bring peace to him and he brings peace to me. And we learn how to work together. Because it's not my job to make him feel less than, and he doesn't make me feel less than. So we all are coming together and working together as one team.
Yeah, you're supposed to be on one accord, but I always, you know, if I go back to, and he's gonna rattle off the scripture in a little bit. You know, a lot of times, you know, I talk to our ladies, especially in the age bracket of 25 to 35. I talk to a lot of that's who I work around a lot too, is in that age group, and I talk to them all the time. And when they're talking about when they're looking for a long-term man or a husband, they talk in terms as if the man is supposed to come and get on her page. And I tell them vast majority of Black people are Christian, some form of Christianity. We are. That's the dominant religion in Black America is Christianity. Whatever you Pentecostal, Church of Christ, Baptist, whatever. That's the dominant religion. From a biblical standpoint, that mindset is not biblical. He's not supposed to come and get on your page. You're supposed to come and get on his. That does not mean that you are subservient to him. But a lot of our women believe that they are subservient that you know, becoming submissive or getting on his page. And I tell ladies all the time, because they come from a perspective of fear to give up that power and control. And I tell them, if you seek a man from the perspective of character driven, you don't have to worry about that. That's an unnecessary burden. Now, we're going to be off next week, and I forgot to mention that to everybody. But when we come back the week after, I'm going to be doing, our topic is going to be called Hey Sis. Sis is an acronym, and it stands for strong, independent, and stressed. And we're going to get into all of that, okay? But I'm gonna stop interrupting and let him finish.
And he even builds the table. He'll get up and he'll go and he'll put the bread on the table. He'll do all of these things, build the house, build the table, fill the table, just to make room for a feminine woman. It's almost like saying, okay, it's like you saying to me, I want to, RC, I'm going to give you a Rolls Royce. I'm going to give you a brand new Phantom. And then I say to you, okay, well, what else, what else are you bringing to the table? What do you mean, what else am I bringing to the table? The value that I'm bringing should be so clear that all we should get, the only response that would be appropriate would be, thank you. But you see, this is the consciousness of a grown man who builds the house, buys the table, earns the bread on the table, just to make room for a feminine woman. You see, men pursue women. Masculine men pursue feminine women. Feminine women do not pursue masculine men. And for a masculine man to be successful in his pursuit of a feminine woman, she would then in turn have to approve of his pursuit. Well, it would be like, you pursuing her, and then she approves, and you say, okay, what else do you bring to the table? What do you mean, what else? It's a man's honor to provide for his woman.
Just like that's my type of guy right there. He know what he talking about. You feel me? Shit. You laughing.
I'm laughing because of how serious you are with it.
I'm dead serious because I see things like that. A woman is always a man's choice. Women, like I said, a man should leave his mother's womb, and he shall find him a wife, and they shall become one. It's not up to a woman to choose. It's just not made that way.
But do you understand what kind of woman he's talking about? He's not talking just any old raggedy old, any old woman.
No, the woman of his choice. So if he chooses,
he's not talking about the woman of his choice. He's talking about a feminine woman. Not every woman, especially Black women nowadays, are feminine. Most are not.
You still got to choose the one of your choice. Now you want feminine, look for that. Because there's all kinds of flavor out here. You feel me? It's up to you to pick your flavor.
But here's the thing, though. We keep saying, just go out there and pick. And I keep bringing up, there are numbers to this. You know what I mean? And so it's not like we got 30 million feminine Black women out here. If that was the case, you wouldn't have men out here screaming, I need a friendly, beautiful, inspirational, feminine woman. They wouldn't be out here screaming that. The men are not screaming that for no reason.
It's like this show tonight was for me because I got a little emotional when this preacher was talking, and when he talked about the man should be at the table. See, we can get the woman, we can mold her into what we want her to be, because I did it with my daughter's mother. I told her she learned how to cook, she learned how to clean, she learned how to take care, she learned how to move out of her mama's house and get her own. And I wasn't even ready to come to the table.
Yeah.
Everything. And I got
being a-
emotional because I still feel bad about that now. I'm looking back like, man, I had it made. I molded her to the woman that I wanted her to be. And I didn't even come to the table.
But here's the thing. Understand that. Also, you know, we have gotten as a group, as a culture, we've gotten so far away from each other for a number of reasons why we've gotten far away from each other. And based on my opinion and based on the research that's coming in with me, we've gotten far away primarily based on our decisions. You know, based on the decisions that we make. And then another thing that is very prevalent with us, we are quick to throw each other away like there's an unlimited supply of each other out here. There is not. There's not an unlimited supply of productive, character-driven men. There's not an unlimited supply of feminine women who are willing to get on your page. And because we get so caught up in the personality quirks a lot of times with each other, we throw each other away like it's nothing. The largest group of single women out here are between the ages of 35 and 60 in Black America. That's the largest group of single women right now. Unmarried women are in that age category because we are so quick to throw each other away and not instead of looking at, and I think we're conditioned. And when we get to the history part, which is a few more weeks down the line, we're going to talk about a lot. So I can't spend a lot of time on that because I want to get through this with him. But you know, and also this, we're going to talk about this on the next show. The whole concept of our woman being our partner. The philosophy behind that, Eve was never Adam's partner. When you have stewardship over something, that you have stewardship over is not your partner. That doesn't make you a lesser valuable, you know, entity in a committed relationship as a lady, because your feminine women can do something for men that no other creature on this planet can do.
You feel me?
The power that a woman has, if she uses it appropriately, is second to none.
Trying to tell you.
Hold on a second.
It's a man's honor to provide for his woman. Provision, providing, building the table, building the house, or building the house, buying the table, earning the bread on the table in the house, is the way masculine men model our manhood to our women. You know, I feel good about
Miss Angela. Did you hear what he said?
Yep.
What did he say?
He said he feel good about it.
About what?
I was over here playing with my eye.
But your eye, right. He said, hold on, let me back it up a second.
is the way to provide for his woman. Provision, providing, building the table, building the house, or building the house, buying the table, earning the bread on the table in the house, is the way masculine men model our manhood.
Our manhood is manifested in providing for our woman. That's what he said.
Yeah, that's you. They say they the head. You the head. So normally the head is the one that provides.
Yeah, what we're talking about. Yeah, provide. We're talking about manhood.
And then if you are that, people see we failing to realize A lot of us looking for submissive. We looking to mold because I heard Hezekiah say that he was able to mold his baby mama into this person. He was able to teach her how to cook and all kind of stuff. So this is what a lot of people they looking for somebody that can submit to them, that they can mold, that they looking for their mama.
Well, first of all, I don't know if we're looking for our mamas or not, but historically, because here's the thing, because well, to say we're looking for our mothers is it's a little bit, it feels a little bit like it's I don't know. When we're talking about molding, and a lot of times we can get caught up in terminology. So I'm gonna replace Hezekiah's term of molding to fitness. Fit. If it's done, this thing that we're doing now, turning over people in our lives, is not something that is conducive to long-term growth or development from a man's perspective or from the female perspective. And it should be, when you select your mate, that you guys, meld together to the point where that you're not fit for anybody else other than the person that you decided to mate up with. You become that through your shared experiences, through your sacrifices, through you learning, through your roles for men, through his provision and protection. The woman through her femininity. That together, it makes you should become unfit for somebody else. But we live in a world now where I said earlier, we're disposable. We just throw each other away before we get to that point, and the outcomes that it's producing is 73% of our women are single and childless. 73% of our women are single mothers. The overwhelming majority of our men do not have children, and they're unattached. Because we just, somewhere along the way, we got it mixed up. But what Mr. R.C. Blaze is talking about is what makes a woman, he'll get into just a second, makes her inspirational. And from the image of her perspective, your productive Black man wants this from you, wants you friendly, wants you beautiful, whatever that means to him, wants you beautiful, or whatever he will accept, however you want to phrase it. And inspirational, wants you feminine. How is that now a bad thing when once upon a time that was considered to be of honor, to be a feminine woman to a productive masculine man?
To our women, I feel good about being able to say I take care of my wife. Oh, there's nothing greater not to a masculine man. Now, the feminine man, he don't care who pay the bills. He don't care. You can pay the bills, the children can pay the bills, just leave him alone. He don't care. But if you have a masculine man, he finds his greatest joy in being able to say, I provide for my woman. He doesn't find that much joy in being or having to say, my woman provides for me. Now, he ain't got no problem with doing that if he has to be in that situation for a period of time. But his greatest joy comes from modeling his manhood to his woman, to his children, through provision. He's not sitting in the living room talking about what else do you bring to the table? Before God, if you go to Genesis, before God gave Adam Eve, God firmly positioned Adam as a provider and a protector. Adam had access and was in control.
What he means by, well, what I take him to mean by Adam is man. Okay, so I just wanted to throw that out.
Of everything a wife might have needed. And so when God brings Eve on the scene, Adam has the house, he has the table, he has the bread on the table, and all Eve had to do was show up and fit into his context.
That's it, that's all.
What did I say earlier about when I talked to the ladies on the job? I work in the hospital. I work around a lot of nurses, a lot of single nurses. A lot of nurses, Black women are starting to dominate the nursing field. And I'm having these conversations with these ladies between the ages of 35 and 45 years old in that age bracket. And I'm telling them, your role is to go and get on his program. And if you are dealing with a guy where you can't get on his program because there's something flawed with him, that's not the dude that's for you. And that's definitely not the dude you give a baby to. But oftentimes or not, the guy that's a productive provider, character-driven male don't necessarily make you tingle like the dude that's an unfit. I tell my ladies all the time, if you want a project, go buy an old Chevy. A human being isn't a project. He's not. You can't fix a human being. I mean, unless you got extensive psychiatric training over the course of 15 years, and then even then, that's just all theory.
So I want to just, deal with this for the sake of some who might have this question: what does a woman bring to the table? Notice I said in my title or description, things a feminine woman brings to the table. Because there's a difference between a feminine woman versus a masculine woman. And when I say feminine versus masculine, I'm talking about the dominant consciousness of that woman. Because in today's society, there are very few, if any, women who can completely and totally 100% of the time be in a feminine state. This is a society that demands a woman be able to shift out of masculine into feminine. But the question becomes, what is this woman's dominant mindset? Is she a feminine woman from her core, even though maybe her job, might demand certain masculine energy, maybe, certain social constructs, maybe the way her family is situated, maybe there's no male presence or what have you, and she has to raise these children by herself. She may have to slip into masculine energy to get the job done. But what is her dominant mindset? What's her dominant frequency? Is it feminine? Because if it is, these are some of the things that this woman automatically brings to the table. Number one, she brings feminine presence. Now, really and truly, honestly, I could stop right there. That's enough right there for me. That's enough right there for me. Just my wife's feminine presence in my house, feminine clothing, feminine fragrances, feminine movement, feminine figure, feminine gesture, feminine sound. That's enough for any man. That's enough for any true masculine man. If she's a good woman and she's a wife, just bring your feminine presence. It's the most sought after attribute on the planet. There is no substitute for feminine energy.
And I 100 agree.
I think that he's 100% right with bringing that femininity to the table. However, I think that masculinity part as backup.
It's interesting.
Yeah, it's there. It's within all of us. We have that masculinity part. Some it just shows more than others, but we have that femininity part. When we're alone, we have it. When we're with our girls, we have it. When we're with our men, we have it. But sometimes it does take a back seat depending on what's going on.
Right.
So it's there. It's just that we are good at turning it on and off. And sometimes men just can't handle that. They may see
he talked
the
about
part when they're not ready to see it. It just happens.
He talked about her dominant software, her dominant mindset is being feminine. Is that something you can turn on and off? If it's who you are, can you turn it off?
I can't speak for everybody. Right. I can't speak for everybody. I think that I can. It depends on my given situation and where I'm at. If I'm taking care of things for my children, just say a school matter, and then I see that it's getting to a certain point, then that masculine part is going to come out because I'm going to handle it because the absence of the man is there. He is not there. So I know how to handle that because maybe he taught me how to do that, or maybe I observed that. But I know how to handle myself in that situation. And some men fears that.
I think I'm extremely feminine in the way I move, but mentally, I got 10 brothers. I could be feminine in the way I look and the way I move, but I could be masculine in the way I think. It's hard to pinpoint, the individual. I grew up with 10 brothers. I think masculine, but I'm very feminine
as a collective. And there are arguments to be made for the individual, but as a collective. And when I say what black men want in general, and this fella, Mr. Blake's, summarized it. Most men want a friendly, beautiful, inspirational, or feminine woman. That's what we want. But is that the image of our black women? And if so, is there? And this is the final question for the night, or for the topic rather. Is there enough available women who fit that for the productive guys that are out here?
As humans, I think we are subject to change. And whatever we lack in, is not like we can't get it together. We just got to be willing to, if the percentage say it's not there, is nothing we can't change around.
The one thing
that's why we have these conversations, I guess.
The one thing that I really dislike is when I hear, and none of you ladies on here have said this, but it has been said often. I'll be feminine for the right guy, and it's like, well, I'll be that's like me saying that sounds crazy to a productive, character driven guy. That sounds crazy because I can't come to you and be like, oh, I'll provide provision and leadership for the if you are a feminine woman. No, you got to be that coming through the door. You got to be that coming through the door. And the other thing that people talk about too is, when they talk about man and female relationships, and they always bring up, he who findeth a wife findeth a good thing and findeth favor with the Lord. Listen, yes, that is absolutely correct. However, but what you don't understand is you don't become a wife when you jump the broom or sign a document. You have to be a wife in your mindset, in your movement, in your behaviors, in your decision making. You have to already be a wife. You just then he has to choose you to be his wife. And that's another thing that I have a hard time conveying with our sisters. And and as we're doing these subjects, I'm actually marching towards something. But these issues that we are having, they didn't come out of nowhere. They're here. You know, granted, I you know, on the panel there are a couple married ladies on the panel, which is great. There's something to be learned from that, you know, which I will talk to you guys offline about that. Because we judge winning over here by legacy. You can't have a legacy being an individual. I mean, you can't have a lasting legacy without being an individual. You can't pass on that. 52 or 53% of black men that are single and childless, when they go, their legacy go with them. Is that what we want for a black culture? You got a whole group of black men out here, out on social media now, saying because it's so difficult to engage with our black women, you just let them be. They got too many kids, let them be. And my philosophy is, okay, you go over there to Maria or Becky, start having kids with those. You know, the arguments, those are still black kids, and I'm saying no, they're not. They're not. You know, so what is the solution? To water down the black culture or change it to something different? I don't believe in that. You know what I mean? And I do believe that that there is that there's something worth fighting for here. Yes, 73% of our women are coming to an available man with a child. That's a fact. We can't get around that. They're here. There's nothing we can do about that. But the question is, can we convince our ladies, if you find a character, productive, driven man, can you offer him something worth coming in and extending the family with you? Can you offer that? Can you say to him, I understand I'm asking you a lot, instead of having the attitude or the mindset that he should be grateful to come in to take care of somebody else's kid, which is what the overwhelming attitude is out here. And I'm coming at it from a perspective of a guy who's out here, you know, and have to deal with this and engage with this. And then also with our ladies with children who should still be able to have a decent husband so you can get greater outcomes. Having difficult conversations with that guy, got to come in there. The question, there's this lady named Kendra G. She has an online dating show. She's a radio personality out of Chicago. And she always she does like matchmaking online, live matchmaking. And she always asks the ladies that have children, you know, if you find a man that, if the man that approaches you and you like him, if you guys get together and you guys get married, can you discipline your kids? And the answer is always kind of. What do you mean kind of? Do you expect a man to be in a home with children he can't discipline? That makes him not a full functioning member of the home, but he still has the responsibility to provide and to protect. And if something goes bump in the night, to die for that home that he can't control or rule or structure the way he sees fit. If that was his kid, you don't need your permission to discipline. You can just go do it, you know? So, but these are conversations that we need to have with one another, you know? And these are very difficult conversations. You know, I understand the need I grew up in a single parent household. My grandmother raised me, and she had the mindset, the fellow that was in the house, that he was not allowed to physically discipline us, period, full stop. If it happened, he was out. And if he's there, you know, breaking his back every day as a construction worker, bringing his check home, laying the cash on the table, and only getting a pack of beer, a full stomach, a soft touch from a woman out of that, you mean when I'm terrorizing this man as a kid, he can't do nothing about it? No, he couldn't do nothing about it. So guess what I did as a kid? I terrorized him. Not because I was mean or bad. I just knew nothing was going to happen to him. And here's the thing. I terrorized the man, and I liked him. How crazy is that? Kids. We're kids, you know? I did it. The moment my grandma walked out the door, it was like ding, 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 the bell was on. I did everything in my power to antagonize that man. But what if that was my father in the house and I'm walking around the house doing stuff like throwing pennies at him while he sleep after he didn't work 60 hours that week, you know? Sabotaging this food by over pepperizing it, putting extra pepper in the food that I'm going to when I tell you I'm terrorizing this man, I'm terrorizing this man. I laugh about it now, but would I have done that if that was my or what if that was my grandfather in the house? Would I have been crazy enough to do something like that? No, because we know, you know, so these are conversations that we need to have. But what Black men are looking for: friendly, feminine, inspirational, beautiful women that we can, you know, that we can grow with. And the only person who can give us that is our women.
That's good to know.
We trust and believe, ladies. I know we're spending a lot of time on her image. We got a lot to cover. Trust and believe. When we get to the men, I'm being nice here. I will not be nice with the men because I have a very, you know, our women have a lot of influence on what has happened with our culture. But my perspective is, as a man, so what? It was our responsibility to not allow this to happen. Every other culture of men out here, and we don't like to be compared to the white man or the Mexican man, they ain't having the problems that we're having. So they're doing something. They're doing something that, you know, really quickly, and I don't want to get off on a political rant, the same group of women that elected Donald Trump elected Barack Obama. The same group of women. White women elected Donald Trump and Barack Obama. How did that happen? How did you go from spending your time electing Barack Obama to now, 8 years later, electing Donald Trump? And I'm going to tell you, because their white men said so. They were home complaining, angry about what I don't know what they were angry about. And these women were upset that their husbands were upset, and their husband told them the way to fix this is to elect Donald Trump, and they went out and did that. They followed their men despite the fact that they just 4 years earlier voted for Barack Obama. And they did it twice. They fall in line. When their men rise up and say, enough's enough, this is the way we're going, they do it. Why aren't we? What is it about our Black men that that's not happening? Now, we'll get down that road when we get to his image. But we all got our part to play. Okay, I'm done ranting. We're an hour and 45. I promised myself only an hour and 15 minutes tonight because I got to travel tomorrow. Anyways, this was a good one, especially over that over the hair stuff. that was actually pretty fun. That was actually pretty fun. So I think we're done. You guys hold back a little bit. I appreciate you. Hold on.
You know we getting grown up in here, right? 25 and up. Let me see your ID, baby. Yeah. Nobody move till we say so. It's that 3D radio with TJ Digger and Lady Flow. Real talk on 3D radio. Dress for success, so it's never fail. Grow delivery, so call it Gmail. Stay logged on till it's time to bail. Adults only, so now it's set sail. Don't act like you ain't heard what I said. Go on, little mama, put the kids to bed. Live on the net, you know it don't stop. Time to get loose like you do the wild. Need some advice, you know who we be. Relationship University. So like Marvin on the Mercy Knees. And on the intro, you know it's Big D's. We came here to blow your mind. Caught up like the folks that's on the crime time. Clap your hands cause it feels so amazing. This another TJM creation. Nobody move till we say so. It's that 3D radio with TJ Digger and Lady Flow. Real talk on 3D radio. Nobody move till we say so. It's that 3D radio with TJ Digger and Lady Flow. Real talk on 3D